Please put your hands together for Jonathan Fogel.
Hey, how's everyone doing tonight? Good. I know you all came to see me, so thanks. Yeah. So I thought I'd take a little time and maybe we can get to know each other a little bit. By that I mean I'll tell you about myself. I'm a middle child. All right, I have two brothers, and for those who don't know the definition, one's older and one's younger. Okay, that helps. We're close though, not just in age, but also in relationship. You know, we're pretty close. We're actually right now, we are working to find a memory care facility for my dad who has dementia. You can laugh. I mean, he's not here. You wouldn't know anyway. That's okay. But I think we found a place for him, which I like. We went there the other day and we were getting in the elevator. We were doing like a tour of the place. And we got in the elevator. They have one of those boards there that has like all the activities and things like that, the meals that they have. And at the bottom, it said they were showing the movie Groundhog's Day. Right? I mean, I'm like, I love this place. They have a great sense of humor, right? Now, I don't know this to be true, but I want to believe that that's the movie they show every day. Right? That and 50 First Dates. They just alternate between the two. Right? That would be great. So I think we've found our place. Let me see, a little more about myself. That'll get to you guys in a minute. I'm a divorce lawyer. That's what I do during, Boy, yeah, thanks. I was never very good in school, but I could divide by 2. Thought, why not? But people do sometimes have a negative reaction when they find out I'm a divorce lawyer, right? Like you, like that, right? That happens, right? I had one person come up to me, he's like, Jonathan, right, because that's my name, and he's like, you know, you're a divorce lawyer, you destroy families, you're a horrible person, right? I was like, Dad, I'm like, don't look at it that way, right? I look at it more like I'm the David Copperfield of the legal profession, right? I take one family, I do my magic, and now there's 2. You're welcome. Nothing on my sleeves, right? It's super easy. But no, I understand being a divorce lawyer can be a dirty job, right? You kind of rummage around the bowels of people's personal lives, right? It's like a proctologist, right? Nobody wants to come and see me, but they're really happy I know what I'm doing. You know, it's true, they do. A few years back, I wrote a book called Preparing for Divorce While Happily Married. It's about 10 years ago I wrote this book. You can still find it on Amazon. I can see everyone's read it. Yeah, thank you. Did not make any bestsellers, but that's okay. But I did dedicate it to my first wife. She was not happy because we were married at the time. But that's okay. We do have 3 wonderful kids, though, right? I'm a father of 3 kids. Thank you so much for acknowledgement. Yeah. But they're 20, 18, and 16 now. But when we were first married, my father-in-law would always say to me, he'd say, Jonathan, again, because that's my name. He would say, are you guys trying to have kids yet? And I'd be like, Jerry, because that's his name. I'm like, that's super awkward that you're asking me if I'm sleeping with your daughter. Right? I don't want to talk about that with you. That's super uncomfortable, right? So we didn't talk about it. But they're older now, and I always thought like when they were younger, it was so much easier, right? Because I could be like that fun dad, that cool dad that hung out with them. You know, we'd watch cartoons. Did anyone watch Peanuts when you were a kid, or the Charlie Brown specials? Yeah, right? I was on the other day and I was getting kind of nostalgic and kind of teared up a little bit. I'm like, God, I remember watching that with my kids. I loved watching that with my kids. And then I was thinking, I wonder if Charlie Brown ever had like that birds and the bees talk with his parents, right? Like I had to do with my kids. It'd be like, Mom, where do babies come from? Yeah. Mom, that's so vague. Right? That's so much easier, I'm sure, on that show, you know, than not my talk with them. And I feel like when they were little, though, it was so much easier. Now, I worry, though, that I did not teach them all the lessons that they needed to, like, survive in the world, right? I'll give you an example. The other day I was doing a show, and my son, who's 16, right, he comes into my room, He said, Dad, what time's your show tonight? And I was like, oh, that's nice. He cares about me, right? I'm like, oh, it's at 10 o'clock. So he goes off and does his thing. About 10 minutes later, he comes in. Hey, Dad, what time are you leaving for your show? And I'm like, oh, that's nice. He wants to hang out and maybe, I'm like, oh, I'm leaving at 8. So he goes off. 10 minutes later, he comes back. Hey, Dad, what time are you coming back from your show? I'm like, no. No one's coming over while I'm gone. You know how I knew he was up to something? Right? Because he's 16. He doesn't care about what I'm doing, right? That empathetic part of his brain has not developed. That scheming part of his brain is fully developed. You know how I know? Because I was a 16-year-old boy. I know what they're up to, right? But I had to go to my show. So I went to my show, and I come back, it was like 12:30. He's sound asleep. Nobody in the house. I'm like, oh, good, right? Like I did something right. And then I find a used condom in the garbage can. Yeah. But it's not even in the garbage can in the garage, like buried under like an empty Danimals container or something, right? It's in his garbage can in his room. It doesn't have a lid. And there's nothing else in the garbage can. Right? And the first thing that I thought of, you would think it would be, my 16-year-old's having sex. No, that's not what I thought of. It was, why did I not teach him better to hide things from me? How is this kid ever going to survive? You have to learn those things. I didn't teach him. I feel very responsible for that. So I'm divorced. Yeah. Shock. Yeah, but no, you can clap for that. I think it's professionally, I think it should be on everybody's bucket list. Right, professionally speaking, thank you. Yeah, right. But mine was very amicable. It was. She got the house. We split my dignity 50-50. So it worked out just fine. No, it was no problem. So we were married for 17 years, so we, kind of beat the average, which is like a 6-year average, so we did just fine, right? Anyone else married?
All right.
Yeah? All right. Potential clients. This is why I don't get invited to weddings, right? Just so you know. But I think they should change the wedding vows, honestly. They should, right? I mean, we have enough empirical data now to see not all marriages last forever, right? And so I think they should change it, like to love and to cherish, to have and to hold, until one of us changes our mind, right? Because it can happen, and it does happen in a lot of cases. I think of marriage as more of kind of a rent-to-own situation, right? Are people familiar with like a house, rent-to-own? Right? So if you don't have the money to buy a house or get a loan from a bank, you can go to the homeowner and rent to own that house sometime down the road, right? Which is very similar to marriages, right? You enter into a contract that has terms and conditions on how you're going to handle living in that home, right? Mowing the lawn, right? Taking care of the roof and everything else in the house, right? Making sure that everything's working okay, right? The thing about a rent-to-own agreement is that there's a clause that at some point in time, someone can opt to cancel that contract, right? Very similar to marriage, because at some point in that marriage, whatever time it's going to be, there is an option to opt out of the marriage, right? And it's just a matter of how much equity you've built up in that marriage, whether you're going to stay, right? So let's just call it what it is, all right? Now, I'm not recommending divorce for everybody. I'm not a proponent of divorce, even though that's what I do professionally. I think people should stay married if that's what they want to do, right? But if they don't, that's fine too, okay? But, oh boy. Yeah. But let me see here. I want to tell you one other thing about myself. Let's see. Oh, the thing about divorce, though, is you can learn a lot about yourself, right, through the discovery of divorce, right? And I learned a lot about myself when I went through my divorce. For example, one of the things I learned, I have terrible allergies to relationships. Yeah, and I'm not talking about like the seasonal type of allergies where you take a Sudafed. I'm talking about like full-blown pop the top off the EpiPen, jam it into your leg type of allergies that just won't go away, right? So those are tough to have. But you'll be happy to know, or maybe not so happy to know, that I'm dating. Yeah, thank you. It's been 8 years. You think it'd be about time, right? But it's tough to date now because they have these dating apps, right? Are people familiar with these dating apps? I know you are. No? No? They didn't have those dating apps when I was single. In fact, they didn't have cell phones before, right, when I was single. I know I look young, but I'm old. You know? I got married in 94, right? They didn't have, like, the cell phones with all the apps on them and everything else. But they have these dating apps now. But it's awkward because I'm on the same dating apps as my kids now. You know? So you got to be really careful on the age preference that you set. You know? You don't want that overlap. That's super awkward. You know? But I'll tell you what's even more awkward is that once in a while I will get a swipe right from a girl who's closer to their age. Right? And look at me. Right? That's weird. Like, they know I have kids because my profile name is Daddy. I don't get it. It's super weird. But it's hard to find pictures to put up on those profiles, though. You know, because I'm 51 now, and I'm not in as good a shape as I was before. You know, before meaning like 20 years ago. Not before like yesterday, because that was just as bad. But it's hard, and you know what I've decided, though? It's not about staying in shape anymore for me. It's just about feeling good about myself. Right? I don't care about being in shape. I just want to feel good about myself. Right? But that's hard too. But last summer, I found this incredible way to feel good about myself. Right? And anyone can do it. You can all do it. You want to know what it is? Yeah, it's called Wisconsin Dells. Yeah, you go there, you get on an inner tube, you float around the lazy river, and you look at people. That's it. That's all you do. You will feel good about yourself. I promise.